Welcome to PR Like a Boss, the podcast where we unpack press wins, brand strategy, and the brilliant minds behind some of the beauty world's biggest breakthroughs. I'm your host, Pats, beauty PR specialist, visibility coach, mascara addict, and a firm believer that your story is your superpower. Now, today's guest, she's not just a boss, she's a beauty pioneer. She introduced microdermabrasion to the UK before most of us can even pronounce it. She's been innovating since 1995, and yes, she has an MBE. So basically, she's skincare royalty. I'm talking about Sharon Hilditch, founder of Crystal Clear Skincare. Sharon's journey spans nearly 3 decades, and in that time, she's turned clever technology into global trust. And today, she's pulling back the curtain on how she built her beauty empire. The wins, the pivots, the press, and the products that still live in her handbag. Sharon, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Pat. Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited to have you here. Let's start at the beginning because I love a good backstory. You were the first to bring microdermabrasion into UK skincare clinics. How on earth did that even come about? What was that light bulb moment?
Gosh, it's 30 years ago. I feel so old saying that. My background's cosmetic science, and I'd been working with a plastic surgery group, and we were looking at what skin treatments we could offer and what was out there. And at that particular time in the beauty sector, you had Casey, which is, the micro lifter, which is brilliant, and it was really taken the whole industry by storm. They had glycolic peels, but there was nothing really for the skin, as in resurfacing, apart from those sort of treatments. I was in Beverly Hills with the famous doctor now, I won't mention him, but I was doing some training with him, and he was talking about deep chemical peels and the blue peels and his product line. And at the time, as much as I loved him and I loved his treatments, but I thought post-operatively for patients, there's still a downtime, there's still things that could go wrong. And I remember coming back from that trip thinking, we'll stick to what we know. And then what happened, I ended up in Italy. Gosh, I don't even know why I was in Italy now, so long ago, but it was working. And I came across a doctor that was using the medical version of microdermabrasion, which was a very high-powered system that blasted lots of crystals at the skin and literally took the skin layers off. But for me, at that particular point, I was looking for treatments for the hospital. I remember thinking, but you're still going to have the same post-op problems because you're taking the skin layers off. You're still going to have to recover. The patient's still going to have a downtime. And I remember thinking, no, I wouldn't bring it back for that sector. However, that was my light bulb moment, because when I came back over a glass of wine talking to a partner at the time, I remember thinking, imagine having that within the beauty sector, but rather than us treat the skin really aggressively, blasting crystals off the skin and take the skin layers away, why don't we do it progressively over a course of treatments? So, for example, if you were doing that, blasting crystals at the skin very superficially over, say, 10 treatments, you would get that same result as the surgeon would get, really blasting the skin, but without any downtime and without any risk. So I decided to go to Liverpool University, and the help of a science guy there as well. We set about designing a system for that sector, for the beauty sector, whereby it wasn't as powerful as the medical systems. We set about doing clinical trials. I mean, I remember our first trials were on pigskin, because pigskin is the most similar to human skin. And we did those trials at that point, and I realized this could be a real game changer within the beauty industry, because you had Microsoft lifting and you had glycolic peels. There was nothing in the middle. There was nothing that could really give you that definite resurfaced skin and exfoliated skin, but without the downtime and without having surgery or treatment or the old-fashioned dermabrasion.
And I imagine there's an element of discomfort there as well.
Yes, horrendously so. Those patients suffer afterwards as a post-operative recovery period. I left the hospital set up crystal clear, built the first system. It was very risky because, it was everything that I had, money-wise, gone into launching this new treatment that, as much as I loved it, and I'd been behind the innovation of how it worked and doing all the clinical trials, wrote all the data, everything I did for that system, you still think, is everybody else going to see the same? I attended the first trade show, which is, going back to professional beauty 30 years ago, the Northwest one. And I remember being on the stand, and we didn't sell any systems. However, I think we must have had about 20 other distributors that worked with other brands or were distributing their own systems and products come to me asking were we looking for distribution. So I realized then, yes, we're onto something because the interest was there. So we started off, we did appoint a distributor in the UK in the very early days because I didn't have that experience on distribution. I was more behind the innovation and looking after patients. So we appointed a distributor, which is great because suddenly the system was going into bigger clinics, bigger salons. And then I wanted to take it back under my control because there's a training angle there as well. And I wanted to be very instrumental in the training. I also wanted to develop products that went hand in hand with the treatment because after microdermabrasion, your skin is really receptive to anything you apply. So I needed to make sure the whole aim of the treatment was to have a very flawless, clear skin and not have any hyperpigmentation afterwards. So I made sure that we made a brightening complex to ward off any pigmentary changes in the skin and a skin repair moisturizer, which was really light and suitable for all skin types, and a very gentle, non-foaming cleanser. That was 30 years ago. They are still our best-selling products today. And I've done so many different products now. It's crazy because they really do work. They're clinically proven, and they work. So it was a choice of either advertising to trade in professional magazines and really pushing the budget there. And we didn't have much budget left at that point because we spent so much on the development of the system, or do PR. So I chose the route of appointing a PR agent.
And how did you initially get Crystal Clear noticed by the press via your PR agency? What early PR strategies or media wins stand out to you?
It was funny because he was a very well-known celebrity PR agent.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know whether I can mention he's not alive now anyway, but he knew a lot of celebrities in that field. And we had, do you remember I can't remember her name, the lady who was having 8 babies?
Oh,
yes.
At one time. Yes.
Gosh, poor girl. I can't remember her name.
No, me neither.
That was awful.
But she was famous, and I just remember it being plastered all over the newspapers. Yeah.
And the News of the World were following her, and they put her in a house, and poor girl, they wouldn't let her move.
Yeah.
But we were her facialist to go in and do treatment. So right away, it was in the News of the World. And then we had Jan Leeming, the old newsreader, who was absolutely lovely and had just got divorced, and she was wanting to reinvent herself. So we did her treatment, and that was plastered all over the News of the World with Jan Leeming looking for a new husband, which probably wasn't really true, but that's what the press had put. So it started gaining traction. And then I think the Deb style piece was a lady at Cath out of EastEnders. Gosh, my brain's going on names.
Yes.
I'm so sorry.
Gillian
Telsworth.
That's right.
Yeah, she was absolutely lovely. She had treatment, and EastEnders was really still popular. It was really popular then. So that went all over the press. And in those days, it was different because everything went in the newspapers and magazines. Then everything started being picked up. But I think the most turning point for press, and that's why the power of the press is so powerful, was we had a big piece in the Daily Mail. Has Madonna had a facelift or she had crystal clear? I mean, that was just brilliant. You can't buy that sort of advertising.
Gold.
That it just went from that day. That was it. You know, we got lots more celebrities. We had all of the we had footballers' wives wanting to put the system in their houses. It was literally everywhere, and that really skyrocketed us to develop more systems and give me the time to look at the products and, go just work on new systems along the way. Only yesterday, because it's off 30 years, we were looking back at one of our social media girls wants to do a whole collage of old photographs going 30 years, what we've done, all the old systems,
that'd be
how it is now.
incredible.
But we ended up just looking at the old photos, killing ourselves laughing because it was like, 30 years worth of traveling abroad. The most hysterical one was I was in Japan talking to an audience and they'd fell asleep. And it was hysterical. We were looking, they'd got photographs of the audience like that. So it must have been really boring. But, it was it's fun. It's been a really fun time.
Oh, over the last 30 years, how have
Yeah.
you seen PR in the beauty industry evolve? And
Huge.
what's stayed the same, if anything?
I think what stayed the same, so I'll answer that one first, is the power of press. However you get the press. It doesn't matter how, you just need to be visible to the press. What's changed, and this has been quite difficult for me because I'm still quite old school, and suddenly you've got social media, Instagram, influencers are more powerful now than a celebrity. I'm still working on old press release, write the press release, sending it all off to the agency. That just doesn't happen. So it's changed hugely, but sorry, sore throat, it's still the same message. It's just a different way that we could convey that message to the outside world, but we're still saying the same. You have to be visible.
Yeah,
you have to be out
100%.
there.
Yeah.
And influencers, they're just everywhere. The power of influencers is huge.
Massive. What advice would you give to brand founders when it comes to gaining credibility with professionals and press?
That's a really important question. We've always managed to be very much educationalist as well. So whatever we do, we tend to have clinical trials on that product. We'll do lots of training. We're very big on training. We're very big. We have a huge clinic and salon database, but we'll do masterclasses all the time. We're totally trained. So we try and get that credibility, which is really important on an educational point. And the other part is that you have to be out there as well. So you've got to be able to run two sides side by side because, you see so many new brands come to. I've seen it in shows over the years, 30 years of shows. You see these big brands coming in, huge stands, all glitzy, and 2 years later, they're not there.
How funny.
So you've got to be able to look at your strategy and do both. I've made such huge mistakes along the way. I really have. I think I've lived through everything here, 30 years of the worst recession in history in 2008, COVID, Brexit. Now, it has been a challenging period, but I think for brands out there, you have to have that very solid strategy of how you're looking at your business. It has to be credible. People have to see you as a voice. They have to see you as a professional. I know with any of my treatments, we still treat lots of journalists. We did the latest in Vogue the other day with our new systems, and they're loving the results. So if you can build it all together, you've got the educational there, you're building systems that actually make a difference, and you've got your outside presence out on social media. I think it could be successful.
Yeah, there are so many different avenues and arms really that need to join up to make the cogs go round.
Most definitely. And it doesn't happen on its own, and it doesn't happen overnight. It takes time. I was talking to a celebrity, and she had crystal clear microdermabrasion years ago when she was thinking. And I did our new system, Skin Storm, a couple of weeks ago, and she went, "Sharon, God, you were everywhere." And I thought, "Oh, well, we're everywhere now. You just don't hear of us as much because it's a different system." However, now with SkinStorm, our new system, it's proving to a lot of traction going on. We've done so much work on the education, the masterclasses. Lots of doctors and clinics are using the treatment, so we've got the credibility there. More importantly, the treatment really works, but we're doing lots of journalists as well. So we're still doing the old-fashioned way of treat and press.
Yeah.
We're just doing it slightly differently, and lots of influencers. And our clinics are great because it's also social. They'll post their videos. They just go, it's in a way, I suppose I liked the old days, or I'll say years ago, because I found sending a press release and getting it into a newspaper or a magazine was easy. I could see it, but now it's a different world because it's more powerful.
Mm-hmm. It's more
And
dynamic.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, that takes me on to the next question, and it's quite fitting. How do you balance that clinical innovation with consumer-friendly messaging, especially when launching devices or treatments that sound very high-tech? I mean, there's a lot of jargon out there.
Yes, there is a lot of this. Yeah, there certainly is. Oh, gosh, I'm going to take Skin Storm. When we're talking to doctors and clinics and aesthetic practitioners in our clinics and our salons, we talk in a different language, and we talk in those terms because it is a high-tech treatment. However, there's a completely different speak to consumers for them to understand it. And that's something I found quite hard in the beginning, because I would automatically talk in that sort of medical term. Consumers now are very savvy.
They are
They
indeed.
do want to know the science most definitely, but they don't need to know they get turned off by the whole page just full of technical data or how the skin works or what it does. So it's having the ability to be able to shorten that down and speaking to them what they need. And it took me a long time to realize the consumer wants to know what result she's going to get, where the clinic wants to know how much money they're going to make from the treatment, because if they're investing in a treatment, they need to know, and they know it works, they need to know it's going to be profitable, where the consumer needs to, if they're investing in their skin and their treatments, they want to make sure it's actually going to work. And it's trying to get that messaging, which has taken me a very long time, I have to be very honest. And I'm very, I always say I'm a tourist, so I plod. So it's taken me a while to change my way of thinking. But now I've suddenly got it. I've got this whole social media thing. I've got this how you speak the different language. And it's really quite interesting. I'm actually enjoying it more now than I did when we first started.
Oh, really?
Which is quite strange, because really I should be retired.
Surely not.
After 30 years, I should have a gold clock.
Well, you've earned some incredible accolades. How do you leverage those recognitions in your work, in your brand communications, in speaking with your clients?
I always used to say from very early on, never believe your own PR.
Okay.
So I'm always quite humble. I never, and to me, I've not achieved yet. it's still a work in progress. I remember when the letter came from the pilots for the MBE, we were jumping on a flight to Belgium, and my colleague in the office had phoned me, I've got this letter here it's got the pilots on there. So we thought it was a wind-up, so we ignored it. And it wasn't until the Liverpool Echo contacted us.
Oh, really?
That actually, oh my God, it's true. Why have I got an MBE? What are they giving me an MBE for? I still really don't know to the day. But it was for all of the work that I've done, loads and loads of work in the sector. So, and that was lovely. And I have to say, I was very lucky because I met the Queen. My mum was absolutely delighted.
I bet.
Oh, she was, it was worth it for her.
Yeah.
And the kids, and they were really young. But no, it's a lovely, lovely achievement.
Yeah.
Still don't know really why I got it, but anyway.
You mentioned challenges when it came to the 2008 recession, COVID, Brexit. How did you, I guess, pivot? Did you even pivot during those times?
That was the hardest time. 2008, that was really difficult. It took probably about 1 million off our turnover within very quickly into that recession. But we survived because we have been going a long time. So we were lucky we just cut costs and tried to survive. Then COVID happened, which is, I still remember thinking before the government announced that they were going to help subsidize furlough the salaries. I remember thinking, oh my God, how am I going to pay staff for 6 months? We've got to make sure we've got enough funding to be able to pay staff because they're not going to be able to work. And it was a horrible time. And then the following day, the government did announce that they were going to do something, which was a massive relief. So COVID was really difficult, but we built our consumer sales. And I think a lot of brands did at that point. So as much as it was really horrendous and we lost business coming in from our salon partners, we probably grew our consumer offering more. We also started lots of things, and we still do it now, called virtual stockist. Because a lot of clinics and salon partners, they want to stock brands, but they don't know which one to stock. And then there's a lot of cash flow involved in stocking a brand and making sure it's selling and making sure it's moving off the shelves. Because a lot of the time, they're working practitioners. And they're not particularly salespeople, so they're not going to. It's not like going into a department store and you've got the salesperson going, this is what you should use. So we started something called virtual stockist. And the virtual stockist work we were saying to all our partners, you tell your clients, recommend what they should use. You don't have to stock it. All you have to do is give them the code. They go online, we'll send it, and you get your commission in your trade. So they were still able to earn money throughout the COVID time, or some of them were. And it worked really, really well. So we grew our skincare sales hugely at that point as well. We were doing a lot more with skincare because we started doing a lot more skin assessments, and we came up with lots of different ideas. So it was just about being innovative in those challenging periods to get through. However, we did, and we were fine, and we came through it. Never quite got back to where we were because we did a lot of our clinics and salon partners had taken a hit, and a lot of them went to the wall at that time. So, and we were the last probably sector that were able to actually go back properly. So that was a difficult time. But I think the most challenging of all of that has been the inflation, and when it just fell off a cliff when our Prime Minister at the point, well, yes, we all know what happened. It literally, the whole economy just took a nosedive. And that was probably the most difficult time because I think people will get through so much. And then you start thinking, oh my God, what else can happen? What else do we do? Well, we are lucky because we're a strong brand. So we are still here. And then you have the Ukraine war. Who could have predicted this? Then we just appointed an amazing American distributor until Donald decided this.
It's just non-stop, isn't it?
But you have to laugh because otherwise you cry and drive yourself crazy. And yes,
but that's the way of business, right?
Yes. Yeah. And it's about coming into, I have to say, sometimes I think, oh God, what else could happen? But it really is about picking yourself up and just having that vision, keeping on the innovation, and not letting the outside world influence your mindset. And that can be hard sometimes.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. I want to pause for a little beauty business mashup. It's time for some fun. This game is called Beauty Shelf and Business Secrets. I'm going to throw a few quick questions your way. Just say what comes to mind. Ready?
Yeah.
What's one product, only one, from your range you always have in your bathroom shelf?
Rewind 10 moisturizer.
Oh.
It's a retinol alternative. It's really lightweight and it's the most amazing product. It does the same effects of retinol without the inflammation and without the brightness, so it suits me. And I have to say, I went to a hotel. Sorry, I'm going to go off track. I shouldn't go off track. I'm terrible for doing
No,
that.
go for it. I
But
love a bit of off track.
I went to a hotel about 2-3 years ago, and I forgot my actual bag with all my moisturizers
Oh
and
no.
cleansers, and it's like, God no, I couldn't go out and buy anything because we were miles away from anywhere. Anyway, I got talking to the lady that run the hotel, and she was really kind. She gave me some of her product, and I remember thinking it was an expensive product, another brand. And I remember thinking, oh, this is awful. That's why I love Rewind. It puts faith back in my products. You forget when you use them all the time how good they are.
Yeah. What's one non-crystal clear product you absolutely love and would recommend to a friend?
I love Dead Sea salts, really old-fashioned Dead Sea salts.
Okay.
I use
Yeah.
them all of the
Do
time. They're
you?
amazing for detoxing the skin. And I often prepare a skin barrier using Dead Sea salt because if you've had some treatments and your skin's a little bit inflamed for whatever reason, or maybe you suffer with uh, eczema or a condition where your skin is inflamed. And we don't know when we look at a client's skin whether their barrier is impaired. So I always mix if my skin is a little bit reactive, a little bit of Dead Sea salt in some water, dab it on the skin, wait 10 minutes, take it off, and the inflammation just calms right down. It helps repair the barrier.
I love that
But I
tip.
use it a lot for, I always use it in my back. I've used it in my back for years.
Oh, really? If we opened your handbag right now, what beauty product would we find?
You definitely find a couple of dummies. I'm just looking at my bag. My granddaughter's wear dummies in the bag. Most definitely my red lipstick.
I love a red lippy. It's my power pout when I go out. I love red.
I can go out without the makeup. I can, if I have to. I don't like to, but I would. I can't bear to be without lipstick.
What brand do you usually go for?
I use at the moment, I'm using Charlotte Tilbury.
Oh, lovely.
And I love Estee Lauder. They have a lip pencil called Rose. That is fabulous. So I
Love
often
it.
use just the lip pencil on its own without the lipstick over it because it stays
Nice.
on longer.
Yeah, I do that as well. What's a surprising or lesser known moment in your career that made a big impact?
Gosh, you've got me on that one. 'Cause I can't
Have
think.
I?
You certainly have. I suppose one of the moments that was probably the highlight, really, but no one really knows about that, was appearing on Good Morning TV years and years ago. I don't talk about it, but we appointed about 5 distributors after that 10-minute slot
Oh, the
talking
power
about.
of the Holy Grail. TV to a
Yeah,
PR is the Holy Grail.
I was so shocked afterwards. We ended up keeping 2 of those distributors, and they've been with us forever and really successful. You forget who sees your programs.
Yeah, yeah, it's
So
amazing.
yeah, and we never talk about that, but it was really, really important for us.
You should dig that out. Put that on
I
your
know.
socials, honestly.
I have to dig them up. Kara's, my colleague here, who's now my best friend because we've worked together for so long as well. She's so organised. She's kept everything in little folders, and that's what we were going through yesterday. So we are going to do a whole collage of that.
Oh, I can't
Should be
wait to
fun.
see that. Press releases or personal pitch?
Ooh, now personal pitch.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think so.
they work much better.
Yeah, because we do when we're doing or when we're sending information. Yeah, if we've had an inquiry from one of our systems, we do video booklets now rather than
Okay,
send the brochure. So you open it and it's someone talking to,
love that.
and it's just work. It's more personable.
Yeah, definitely. Celebrity seeding or clinical trials?
Ooh, a bit of both.
Yeah,
I'm going to say you need a bit of both. You
you're on the
have to have.
fence.
Yeah, you have to have. You can't beat celebrities.
Yeah,
You just can't because no matter who we are, we aspire to. You hear them in the socials or in the news. I still believe people buy into what
yeah.
celebrities
It still
do.
has a place.
Yeah, But you have to do a little bit of both.
Yeah. Skincare education events or influencer demos?
Oh, gosh. Oh, if I'm really honest, influencer demos I'm going to go for. I
Really?
am. I am, because I just know, certainly from launching Skinstorm, which has been amazing, but when we treat influencers and it goes on their socials, it just goes really crazy.
Mm,
But we do both.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, I absolutely love that. I'm also stealing your handbag red lippy product recommendation immediately. I'm always looking for another red lip. Now, looking ahead, what's next for Crystal Clear? What trends or changes do you see coming in professional skincare that we should be all paying attention to?
I think, personally, we will go to making skincare products that do lots of different things in one, more powder based that you mix,
Wow. Okay.
very bespoke. And your cleanser will come as a powder. You'll have something else that's bespoke that you can add if you've got greasy skin that week, if you've got dry skin, if your skin's a little bit inflamed. So I think it'll definitely be more bespoke skincare. To be honest, I think the days are changing where it'll be one product sits on a shelf and that's for sensitive skin, that's for pigmentation, because everyone's skin changes at different times.
Yeah.
And I think it'll be more bespoke where it'll be one product. You add a bit of this, you take a bit of that out, you can add it. And I
It
think,
sounds like a science experiment in your bathroom.
but I'm already doing that. So that's going to be our new range, I have to say. And I've been working on it quite a while, so I won't give too much away. It'll be bespoke to the individual.
Wow, I'm looking forward to see what's next.
You'll be able to carry it easily in your bag.
Love that. And accessible and
Yeah.
versatile, and I love it.
That's what
Love
what it says on the box.
That's
More
it. That's
importantly.
all we want. Sharon, this has been fabulous. Such insightful information, from launching first of its kind treatments to navigating decades of media evolution and business. You've truly stayed crystal clear in your mission and message. Where can listeners find out more about your treatments, products, and what's coming next?
www.crystalclearskincare.
Love it. And your Instagram?
It's crystal clear. Sorry, that's all. See how bad but you have to give me something here. 30 years. I still can't remember my Instagram. My daughter does mine.
Well, I'll find it and I'll put it in the show notes.
I know.
Oh, thank you so much. This has
Thank
been
you.
amazing. And for everyone listening, whether you're a brand founder, a beauty lover, or just trying to keep up with the latest in skincare and strategy, remember this: innovation opens the door, but how you tell the story gets you invited in. If you love this episode, tag me on Instagram, subscribe, tell a friend, or leave a review. It helps reach more amazing listeners like you. And don't forget, if you're ready to elevate your PR game, check out my e-course, PR Like a Boss. It's packed with actionable tips to get you noticed and stand out. The link is in the show notes. Join me next time for more conversations with my female powerhouses. Until then, keep pushing boundaries and PRing like a boss.